About this video. Moves in the field have become an integral part of the USFS testing program and have now been taught for over 15 years. Their success can be measured in improved footwork and increasingly exciting programs. This video, produced by the Professional Skaters Association and approved by the USFS, defines the correct steps, patterns, focuses, common errors, standards, and expectations expected from skaters who are being tested for moves in the field. It is intended only as a guide for judges, coaches, and skaters in order to develop a standard throughout the country. Included in this video are only the moves that are either brand new or have been modified. Original moves that have gone without revision can be viewed on PSA's Moves in the Field Volume 2 DVD. Special note, it is important to realize that this is an instructional video. The elements in each field move on this video have both been demonstrated by above and below standard of passing and has been produced purely for demonstration purposes. Errors are allowed at each test level, which should not exclude a test from passing. The level and magnitude of the error must always be considered when evaluating a test as pass or retry. Moves in the field. The new test structure to take effect September 2nd, 2010. The members of the Moves in the Field Task Force are pleased to present our revisions to the current testing structure. We were charged with the duty of examining the current tests with two goals in mind. 1. Define methods to shorten the length of test while still allowing the skaters to demonstrate important skills bilaterally. 2. To reintroduce skills that have been part of the figure skating for decades but were not included in the original introduction of the moves tests. Many of the current moves ask the skater to perform a skill in one direction, stop, and perform the skill in the opposite direction. Sometimes it's clockwise to counterclockwise, and sometimes it's forward to backward. But we have taken several of these moves and revised them to flow continuously, saving time without sacrificing what the skater is meant to learn from the skill. These improvements will not only save valuable ice time during tests, but also lessen in practice time. Moves were originally created to help preserve the form and accuracy of turns that are an essential part of figure skating, but loops and twizzles have been overlooked until now. New patterns, including these turns, complement the threes, brackets, counters, and rockers that have been part of the move structure since its inception. While new moves are being introduced, some current moves are also being deleted from the test structure. Overall, we believe we have retained the best of the old moves tests and added new moves to a present, logical, and progressive test structure. The 2010 Adult Moves in the Field revisions. Adult track moved in the Moves in the Field will adopt the same revisions as the lower level standard track moves in the field. These are our task force members of the Moves Task Force of U.S. Figure Skating. The 6 focus points of moves in the field. Edge quality. Edge quality is initiated through the proper body alignment over the skating foot, creating a stable arc that travels uninterrupted until a required transition takes place. Depth of edge refers to the acuteness of the arc and is created by the lean of the body and the angle of the blade when it takes the ice. Good edge quality results in a confident, sure, and controlled movement. Extension. General carriage should be erect, characterized by extended body line. The angle of the head follows naturally from the line of the back. The arms should be naturally extended with the shoulders down and back. The skater's hands should follow the line of the movement being executed. The final extended position should be executed in a controlled manner and should achieve the maximum length of all body lines. Power. The creation and maintenance of speed and flow without visible effort. It is developed by a continuous rise and fall of the skating knee together with the pressure of the edge of the blade against the ice. The skater should demonstrate the ability to exert equal pressure against the surface of the ice, both right and left foot. End products of power are velocity, speed or pace, flow across the ice, and acceleration. Quickness. Quickness refers to foot speed. It is precise, rapid, and crisp execution of turns, changes of edge, and transitions. Quickness does not refer to the overall pace at which the move is skated, although in some moves, the foot speed will result in a brisk and continuous cadence. Refinement to knowledge include quick movement that is quiet, fluid, and continuous without disturbing the proper and erect carriage of the upper body or interrupting the established rhythm. Continuous flow. The skater's ability to maintain a consistent and undisturbed running edge across the ice. Flow does not necessarily relate to the speed at which the skater is traveling, as it is sometimes best recognized as the skater starts to slow down. Turn execution. The proper skill and technique of how the turn should be performed. The correct entry edge and exit edges are to be adequate for its identification. Available now. PSAs, Moves in the Field Book, 5th edition. Buy it now at www.skatepsa.com. Preliminary moves, forward and backward crossovers. Power is the focus. This new pattern combines the forward and backward crossovers from the previous preliminary field moves test. Only one figure 8 forward will be skated instead of 2, and it will go immediately into the backwards. Then, only one figure 8 backwards will be skated instead of 2. Standards and expectations. Good posture, ability to increase power, correct blade use through the push, stroked not stepped. Want to start to see some knee bend and rise. Transitions are important. It's allowed to have a maximum of 7 optional introductory steps. 1-foot transitions between the 2 forward circles is to be expected. The transition between the 2 forward circles into the back circle will be a swing, change of edge into an open mohawk. Again, a 1-foot transition is to be expected between the 2 backward circles. Common errors: toe pushing or incorrect use of the blade to stroke, forward crossovers weaker than the backward ones, up and down motion throughout crossovers, insufficient ability to create power, and poor posture. This move may start in either direction on either foot. Forward crossovers must be skated first before the backward crossovers, and the pattern may be skated anywhere on the ice. It will be common to see this placed down in the end hockey circles or centered in the middle of the rink. 4 to 6 crossovers per circle will be skated. The 4 circles should be equal in size. Preliminary moves, forward circle 8. Edge quality and continuous flow are the 2 focuses of this move. Standards and expectations. No introductory steps. Round circles similar in size. Body control during position changes. Sense of organization and technical repetition. Proper use of blade during push-off. Forward pushes perpendicular to long axis. A skater can mark their center on this forward circle 8. The move begins from a standing start. No introductory steps are allowed. The 3rd circle will trace over the 2nd circle. The 4th circle will trace over the 1st circle. Common errors: toe pushing, wide stepping on the pushes, not stepping on the axis, lack of awareness of short and long axis, having the concept of center, unequal circle size, and having subcurves on the circles. This move may start in either direction. And the pattern may be skated anywhere on the ice using any of the hockey lines or hockey circles as landmarks. Circle size should be approximately 3 times the skater's height, and all 4 circles should be of same size. Skater must do the outside edges first, then followed by doing the inside edges. And the skater must always switch feet. Preliminary, alternating backward crossovers to back outside edges. Power and extension are the focuses. This new pattern eliminates the second side of the original move. By doing so, the skater will only skate down one side of the ice. Standards and expectations. Good speed, good posture, good ice coverage, and control during sustained extensions. A maximum of 7 optional introductory steps are allowed for this move. The skater should skate 4 or 5 lobes down the ice. Common errors: poor flow and extension, unequal lobes, poor posture, inability to extend equally on both legs. It should be noted that pattern will not usually cross the center of the rink. Pre-juvenile moves: forward and backward perimeter power stroking. Forward stroking, power and extension are the focuses. Going backward, power and edge quality are the focuses. There will be a maximum of 7 optional introductory steps on this move. Make sure after the crossover step that the skater steps perpendicular to the axis onto a solid inside edge. Back transitions should be on 2 solid inside edges, going perpendicular to the axis. Standards and expectations. All crossovers of same quality. Good ice coverage with solid edge pushing. Stepping on axis to set proper curvature of the lobes. Extension step must be an inside edge. A strong forward inside edge transition is required from the forward crossovers. The end pattern consists of 2 forward crossovers, a 2-beat left forward outside open stroke into a right forward inside open mohawk, finishing with 1 or 2 backward crossovers. 2-foot power push transitions from the backward crossovers are required, going perpendicular to the axis. And the second end pattern consists of 3 to 5 backward crossovers to complete the move. Common errors: incomplete second stroke during crossovers. Forward inside edge lacks power and extension. In backwards, the inability to maintain a smooth or level shift of weight on proper edges. Stepping diagonally across the axis, use of toe picks, poor posture and ice coverage, difficulty creating power, and skating a correct pattern. The pre-juvenile moves test. Backward, circle 8. The focus for this move is edge quality. Standards and expectations, no introductory steps, round circles similar in size, sense of organization and technical repetition, proper use of blade during push-off, backward push-offs perpendicular to the axis. To start this move, a skater can mark their center. The move begins from a standing start and pushes onto a back outside edge. The third circle traces over the second circle, and the skater switches feet. The fourth circle will trace over the first circle, and that will complete the move and the 4 circles of the figure 8 required. Common errors: wide stepping the pushes, not stepping on the axis, lack of awareness of short and long axis, having the concept of a center, unequal circle sizes, having subcurves, lack of control, and 2 footing after the push-off. This move may start in either direction. And the pattern may be skated anywhere on the ice. The circle sizes should be approximately 3 times the skater's height. The skater must do the outside edges first, then followed by the inside edges. Pre-juvenile moves, 5-step mohawk sequence. Edge quality and extension are the focuses for this move. This new pattern eliminates the second side of the original move, so now the skater doesn't have to repeat it. All 5 steps of the 5-step mohawk sequence should be skated in an even tempo. Standards and expectations. Good ice coverage. Steps fairly equal on lobes with an even beat, the rhythm. Correct edges with a nicely extended free leg. Mohawks should be placed at approximately the 1/3 point in the lobe. This move has an allowance of a maximum of 7 optional introductory steps. The mohawks should be placed at about the 1/3 point on each lobe, and the slip step should be at the 2/3 point on the lobe. The step forward should be on an outside edge. Common errors. Incorrect edge on step number 4. It should be a left forward outside or right forward outside depending on the direction of the circle. Uneven timing. Poor extensions and edge quality, inability to create power for correct pattern, difficulty in keeping an even beat, meaning the rhythm, lack of a good transition, the forward inside to forward inside, and making sure it's on the axis, and watch out for wide stepping. Again, Make sure that step number 4 is a forward outside edge and not a forward inside edge. This move should be done as 4 or 5 equal sized lobes going down one side of the ice. Juvenile moves. Forward power circles. Power is the focus for this move. Standards and expectations. Continuous acceleration. We're not looking for slow then fast. Circle size increases as skater accelerates. No toe pushing, and no more than 15 crossovers should be skated. This move begins from a standing start, and it may start in either direction, going either clockwise or counterclockwise to begin with. There should be no more than 15 crossovers total to complete this move. Common errors. Inability to increase acceleration progressively. The clockwise direction to be weaker than the other side. Improper use of edges to stroke. Poor control of upper body and posture. The circle circumference should increase as the skater accelerates. The skater should accelerate throughout the entire move. The angle of the body becomes more acute as the move progresses to the end. Juvenile moves, backward power circles. Power is the focus for this move. Standards and expectations. Continuous acceleration, not slow, then fast. Circle size increases as skater accelerates. No toe pushing, and no more than 15 crossovers are allowed. This move begins from a standing start. However, with the option to start with just a 3 turn. This move may start in either direction, but again, no more than 15 crossovers. Common errors. The inability to increase acceleration progressively, unequal power from both edges, and weaker posture and control of upper body. In this move, the circle circumference increases as the skater accelerates, and the skater must accelerate throughout the entire move. The angle of the body becomes more acute as the move progresses. Juvenile moves, the 8-step mohawk sequence. Focuses for this move are quickness and power. This new move combines both directions of the 8-step mohawk sequence into one single figure 8 pattern. The skater will perform 2 8-step sequences on each circle for a total of 16 steps per circle, with 1 step in between for transition. Standards and expectations. Fairly neat placement of feet, meaning the footwork. Footwork is a combination of a march and a glide action. Circle shape must be maintained. Skater should complete 2 sequences per circle. Steps 6, 7, and 8 must be distinct steps, not a back crossover. This move has a maximum of 7 optional introductory steps. A 2-beat left or right foot transitional step will be done between circles. All 8 steps should be done in an even cadence. Common errors: circle size too small or irregular circles, inability to sustain a quick march tempo, wide stepping, wider than hips, blatant and early change of edge on the mohawk, weaker in one direction, usually will be the clockwise direction, difficulty in completing a full circle. This move may start in either direction. The mohawk can be either an open or a closed mohawk. This move has 6 power steps and 2 maintenance steps skated per sequence. Intermediate moves: the intermediate spiral sequence. Extension and edge quality are the 2 focuses for this move. Standards and expectations. Edge control and flow in accordance with pattern. Free leg must be hip level or higher during spirals. Awareness of extension of all body lines. Full ice coverage is a must. This new move has a maximum of 7 optional introductory steps. The steps skated on the end pattern are optional. And please remember to maintain a safe environment while practicing back spirals on a crowded session. Common errors: loss of control in transitions, lack of control after mohawk, poor extensions, flats or forced edges, lack of a sustained extended position. This move may start in either direction. The first step is an outside spiral that is held for half a circle and is completed on the center axis. An open mohawk is stepped on the long axis. A 2-foot power push transition to another back crossover. A outside spiral is held to a forward inside spiral steps on long axis. A mohawk steps on the top of the circle to a back inside spiral to finish the first side of the move. Again, an optional end pattern, and the move repeats again. Outside spiral for half a circle, steps on the axis into a mohawk that retrogresses back. Back outside spiral steps parallel to the long axis, and then a forward inside spiral steps across the long axis. All spirals should be sustained with an extended free leg position, and the last spiral should be held back to the long axis. Intermediate moves. Forward twizzles. Turn execution and continuous flow are the two focuses of this move. Standards and expectations. Static skating leg / knee is required, either bent or straight during the twizzle. Skated with a continuous flow. Strong core and body alignment are needed. Common errors: loss of upper body control, over-rotation, lack of check on exit of twizzle, lack of flow, wide stepping or two-stepping transitions, toe pushing on cross strokes, double three-turn action, scraped or skidded turns, and one rotational direction being stronger than the other. The definition of a twizzle. A twizzle is a traveling turn on one foot with one or more rotations, which is quickly rotated with a continuous, uninterrupted action. The weight remains on the skating foot with the free leg in any position during the turn, and then placed beside the skating foot to skate the next step. A series of check three turns is not acceptable. This does not constitute a continuous action. If the traveling action stops during the execution, the twizzle becomes a solo spin, a pirouette. The four different types of entry edges for twizzles are the following: forward inside edge, forward outside edge, backward inside edge, and backward outside edge. This move begins from a standing start. No introductory steps are allowed. It may start on either foot, but must be skated with outside twizzles first. Returning across the ice, the skater starts from a standstill to start the second foot. Three twizzle sets are to be repeated on each foot. All transitions are stepped on the axis. This move begins and ends with the same step. Again, it continues from a standing start. The forward twizzles will rotate for 1 1/2 revolutions. An example of being skated down the length of the rink. This video clip is an example of the forward twizzles being skated down the long axis instead of being skated across the short axis. The skater must still start to skate the opposite foot from a standstill position. The connecting steps and end patterns are optional. But still, the inside twizzles must start from a standstill position. Arm and leg positions are optional within the twizzles. The skater must maintain a continuous flow throughout the twizzle pattern on both sides. The novice moves in the field test. Inside 3 turns to rocker choctaws. Power and quickness are the 2 focuses for this move.